Oops, I had mute on. Oh man. Okay, I'm still on Europe time, so I'm just gonna blame that little mistake on that. So tired right now because right now in Europe it's like 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. So I'm still kind of on that schedule. Sorry about that. Basically, what I was saying is welcome to the team call. I want to talk tonight about recruiting, which is the one thing that I love the most about this business. I love bringing people into the business, watching their lives change with the business, watching, people change their lives financially, emotionally, belief-wise. Really, this company has the power to make a generational change in someone's life, meaning not only change their life, but their family's lives and their future families' lives. And I love gifting that to people. And it's one of the things that I'm super passionate about in this business, super passionate about teaching, and super passionate about communicating to you guys as one of the most important things that you'll ever have in your business. But initially, a couple housekeeping things. So there's a diamond training coming up this week. You have to be an Emerald coach to take part in that. It's going to be really exciting, really pushing towards goals. The summit stuff is coming together. Summit is less than a month away, which is so crazy. Looking forward to seeing everybody there. If you guys hit Success Club this month, you will get a Team Shine Dynasty headband. For the guys, we have a different prize. You don't have to rock a headband. But, really, it is so important to be dialed in right now and to really be paying attention to these calls, paying attention to the resources that are available to you in the team page and in the trainings. If you're interested in moving your business forward and hitting Success Club, I started a push group that's going to kick off tomorrow for the last 10 days of the month to help everybody get to that Success Club goal. I realized that I was gone for 2 weeks, but these calls really should be up in attendance. They are so important to our success and so important to get tied to the team and on a live call, but I digress. I'm going to get right to the topic. And like I said, I'm going to be talking about recruiting. I'm going to share some slides with you guys. Let me just share my screen. 1 second. Okay, so it's interesting that when I first start to talk to people, newer coaches, or start to talk to people about, I get on a call with someone and they say, I want to take it to the next level. I want to be really successful in this business. I want to be full-time. I want to have this be my primary job. I really want to have flexibility. I want to be home with my kids. I want to retire my husband. And then I say, well, your main focus should be recruiting. That is what opens up the business, rank advancing, sharing this opportunity with other people. There's a bug on my desk. Hold on. Got it? Don't worry. Sharing this opportunity with other people and doing it often. I think so many times we shy away from recruiting because we make excuses for ourselves, right? Oh, we don't know enough about the business. We don't know what to say. We're not successful enough. We don't have, big enough things to share that the business has given us, which is all pretty much crap. Today, I was reminded of where I was in 2014 in this business 3 years ago, and I was a brand new diamond, kind of struggling with my goals, making about $130-ish a week, and that was only 3 years ago. Every single coach that you see that's super successful, that's recruiting a ton of people onto their team, they were once where you are. They were once worse off than where you are. Everyone starts recruiting at a certain point, and I'm going to talk tonight about how to begin recruiting, what my kind of flow with recruiting to the business is. And when I say recruiting, I mean a couple things. When we say recruiting or we say inviting, it can be twofold, right? It can be recruiting challengers, recruiting coaches onto your team. Success Club points come from both, and they're both equally valuable, right? So initially, the kind of organic way is to first invite challengers to challenge groups, get them tied to the programs, get them some results, and then once you have the hang of that, start to concentrate more on attracting people to the business opportunity, right? Because growth within your organization will only come if you are doing it in that organic way. If you're teaching other people how to be successful at the business as well, or not even teaching them how to be successful, simply sharing it with them and bringing them in on the same journey as you. So it doesn't matter how long you've been a coach. It doesn't matter how much you know about the business. You should be inviting and sharing, which is key, about the opportunity from the very beginning. Oh, I just tried to click on the wrong thing. Hold on one second. Nope, that's not it. Technical difficulties are happening. One second, you guys, sorry. Okay, moving on. So like I said, recruiting is super, super, super important, but it can be confusing at first. You know, I don't know how to talk about the business. What do I say about the business? And sometimes our activities, which I touched on a little bit in the team page today, are not matching up with what we need to be doing every single month. I hear so many people, and you know, I say this on so many calls, but even top coaches on the team, I'll get on the phone with them and, you know, we still need to be reminded of this. I still need to be reminded of this. Every single day, we still need to be reminded of being conscious of where we're spending our time. Is the time that we're spending on our business actually focused on business building activities, or are we scrolling? Are we talking to fellow coaches? Are we kind of plotting things that we have to do that we know will move us forward, but we spend more time plotting it than we do actually doing it? It's our job as our own business owners to kind of police that and be that factor for yourself, who is kind of like a boss saying, okay, got to stay on track now. Can't be scrolling. That's not business building activity. So just really being in touch with that. As far as recruiting goes, I need everyone to have a mindset switch about posting about the business, inviting to the business, talking about the business, telling someone else they'd be good at the business, and really recruiting in general. I've used this analogy one time before, and I was watching a call today that I did probably 2 years ago about it, and it still holds true. So if you are if you have a traditional 9-to-5 job, if you're in corporate America, you have a LinkedIn account, right? And seriously, this website is so confusing to me. I still don't understand how it's still such a huge thing in the corporate world. But basically, it's just to tell everybody where you work and what your specialty is, and you just connect with your coworkers on there. So when I worked in corporate America, I was the director of operations at a medical marketing firm. And I want to point out, I did not start as a director of operations in a medical marketing firm. I actually started as a receptionist at the front door and kind of worked my way up through hard work to director of operations. And while I was there, I did create a LinkedIn account and had, you know, it's so funny because I did not have medical marketing experience at all. You know, I had a big fancy degree from a private university, but nothing about that said, you know, you'd be excellent at this. And during that time, that profile sat there and I had connections and said the company I worked at. And I would get messages every now and again from a recruiter that would say, hey, you look like an excellent candidate for this upcoming job I have. Let me place you there. And let me tell you, when I got a message on LinkedIn that said I was good at something, I'd be like, oh yeah, somebody thinks I'm good. And when I had a bad day at work, I would go on there and I'd be like, you know what? I would be good at that job. It was such a confidence boost to have someone tell me I would be good at something. So I think it's so strange how we have this kind of wet blanket on our shoulders about inviting people to the coaching opportunity. And we neglect to remember that telling someone they'd be good at something, offering someone a change in their destiny, is really a gift. So every time you don't invite someone, every time you don't tell them they'd be good at something, every time you don't, you know, you're scrolling through, you think of a friend, you have someone in mind that you think would be a great fit for your team and you don't tell them, you're actually robbing them of a good day. So keep that in your mind. There's also entire buildings, entire industries full of people that recruit for a living. And I know there's some on the team that are recruiters in the corporate world. No one thinks that that's bad. No one thinks that that's salesy. That's just a corporate job. It's interesting to me how when someone appoints that title as being okay, everyone's sort of fine with it and doesn't care about saying that that's what they do. But when it's something that you're doing for yourself, all of a sudden everybody gets really meek and shy about it, which is just a super interesting concept to me. So we have to get past that mental block, right? We have to get past the mental blocks that A, no one will want to join me because I'm not as successful as someone else. B, I don't want to be too forward and invite someone and seem salesy. Or C, I won't be a good coach to someone else because I don't know everything. All those three things are BS, right? I started a team when I didn't know anything about having a team. I didn't know anything about Team Beachbody. I didn't know anything. All I knew was I'm going to take this to the top. This is going to be my full-time job so people can come along with me if they want, right? Here is another freeing thing. If you guys are on this call, you have the resources of me, of your upline, of the entire Shine Dynasty team. You have sneak peeks that are run for you, new coach trainings that are run for you, challenge groups that are run for you. You know 100% more than someone else outside of the company looking in, right? And then the other kind of one that I mentioned about, well, who's going to sign up with me? I'm not as successful as the next person. Guess what? Success is very intimidating. It is way more relatable to someone to talk about, hey, I've been in this company for 2 months and, I've had really great success with the programs and I'm building my business. And I've seen really great things from the business side and I'm super excited to move forward. Then a insane success story that's no longer relatable, right? When you approach someone and say, oh, I'm making $100,000 a week, no, everyone will be like, that's so silly. So I think a lot of times, whatever position we're in, we look at the other position and trick ourselves and say, that position's better. I would strive more there. More people would sign up with me if I was there. If I was in this position, that would be so much better. And really, that's just kind of fear playing around with you. Let's evaluate your flow of things. Are you actually, be honest with yourself, are you actually inviting people? And then once you invite people, where are you going from there? Where are you taking the conversation? Are you putting them into a sneak peek? How many sneak peeks do you have a month to put people in? And then do you have goals? At the beginning of each month, have you set a goal that says, I want to sign up 3 new coaches this month, right? So if you know that you want to sign up 3 coaches in a month and you have 30 days or 29 days or however many days it is in the month, how many people you need to talk to in those 30 days in order to sign up 3 people, how many sneak peeks you need to run, how many sneak peeks you need to be a part of, because on this team, you don't have to run your own. We offer that for you, which is a really cool perk. And if you don't have goals, how can you know where you're going? You're basically walking around blind with the lights off, right? If you don't have goals, you can't backtrack your conversations, the amount of people you're talking to, the amount of posts you're doing, and you're kind of lost. So you have to set some goals. Here is my flow of recruiting. And my number one thing that I always talk about, some of my older coaches will just kind of roll their eyes at this. Every single post that I do on social media, and you can go scroll on my social media, every single post that I do has something to do with coaching or a challenge group. It tells a little snippet of the story of the 1,000-page novel of what I do as a coach. I run my social media as if every person coming to my social media needs a question answered about what I do, right? Because the point of my social media is we always hear storefront or an analogy like that. Your social media, which used to be something that we used to waste time, is now your business storefront, which is really, really cool. So if you had a business storefront and you were selling coffee, would you have nothing in the store that talked about coffee? Would you have no coffee cups, no filters, no espresso machines, Nothing like that. It would just be a blank store with pictures of you and your family. And then in the back room, that's where you sold the coffee. Absolutely not. You would have signs all over the place about coffee, a whole ton of merchandise about coffee, a price list about coffee, stories behind why you started selling coffee. If you go into Dunkin' Donuts, there's brochures, there's pictures, there's straws, there's cream, there's sugar. Everything about that place, when you look at it from the outside and when you walk inside of it, you know they sell coffee, right? You know they sell breakfast food. You know it from their commercials. You know it from their signs. You know it from the smell. You have to create this on your social media, and it takes just getting started. If you're a brand new coach, you can just get started on this today, right? So if you are posting on social media consistently, and in each one of these posts, you're leaving a little information about what you do. If you're a brand new coach, maybe you're talking about how excited you are that you're starting a new program. You're talking about figuring out the meal plan. You're talking about how interesting it is that you're eating differently now. You're talking about Beachbody On Demand. You're talking about the sneak peek of Shift Shop. People are starting to know that when they come to your page, this is what they're going to get. That is the thing that you have to absolutely change right now. If you're someone sitting on this call that says, I need to recruit good working coaches, how many people feel that? I asked my Diamond group what they thought their coaches needed to hear, and a whole ton of them said attracting working coaches. And this is a really interesting concept that a lot of people kind of don't not understand, but it's interesting when I talk to people about this. I say, well, are you talking about the work that you're doing? Are you talking about coaching as a business, as a job, as something to make money? And then I go to their timeline and there's nothing like that on their timeline. And then I ask how they're introducing the business, and they're talking about it as a hobby, as a side gig, as, you know, something they do for fun, as something that you can get the discount doing. You get what you talk to people about. So if you're presenting the business in a certain way, you're going to teach those people how they think about the business. If you're posting about things in a certain way, so if you're always negative, if you're, you know, before I joined Beachbody, my Facebook was so negative and sarcastic. Like, it is so funny to look back 5 years ago and see what I was posting on Facebook. Although it was funny, the other day I scrolled backwards, and on Facebook, I don't know if you guys remember, but your status used to be your name and then is. So like every status you wrote had to be like Bonnie Engel is, and then say like what I was feeling. But they don't have that feature anymore. So now all of my old statuses look really funny because the is isn't there. But they're all just this undertone of negativity, of sarcasm. So when people come to my page, they feel negativity and sarcasm. You create the feeling that people get when they come to your page. Is it happy? Is it bright? Is it excited? Are you infectiously excited about what you're doing? Are you struggling? Are you working out? Are you sore? What is your feeling? What do you want to get across to the people who are coming to your page? This is all part of building and expanding a network. Think about some of the blogs, some of the websites, some of the magazines that you follow and buy and keep going back to, some of the people that you follow on Facebook, on Instagram. Why do you follow them? What do they consistently give you that you like? That is what you have to recreate. So the flow of recruiting. Every single month, at the beginning of the month, I hit Success Club in the first week of the month. Every single month, because of my flow. Number one, I spend the majority of my business time sending messages. Posting on Facebook, having the perfect post, having the perfect pose, talking to other coaches, scrolling, liking and commenting on other coaches' stuff. That is not lucrative business activity, right? The proof in the pudding is where you send messages, invite people, and talk to people and create relationships. In any business, I don't care what network marketing business you're in, I don't care what regular business you're in, if you're not spending time building relationships and doing the meat of the work, then it won't go anywhere, right? Number two, so be a policeman about your time, right? Because I get a lot of people who say, I'm working a lot and nothing's happening. And I'm like, well, I dig deeper and I say, well, what kind of work are you doing? And then they kind of tell me, and oftentimes it's a little bit off the mark. Doesn't mean it's bad, doesn't mean it's wrong, just means we have to kind of course correct. Number two, making sure you are posting about the benefits at least once per day about coaching. You know, it's so funny. I don't know if you guys know Melissa McAllister, but she is a super, super duper successful coach in Team Beachbody. She's been a coach for 9 years. She's a triple 15-star diamond, I believe. She is in workout videos. She's completely changed her life. Her and her husband are amazing people. And she's been top 10 like 6 times in a row. And she said to me on the last top 10 trip, she was like, you know, I share your posts and your training calls in my page all the time. And for me, she's like a celebrity coach crush of mine, like Melissa freaking McAllister. And I'm like, what are you talking about, me? And she's like, yeah, you share so unapologetically about the business. That's what every single person should be doing. And it's interesting how much I say that to you guys, but an outsider finds that super valuable. So make sure that you are posting about the benefits of what you're doing, whether it's challenges or coaching, every single day. This is how you create momentum and consistency. People need to see something 20 times in order for it to sink in. I get a lot of people who say, I changed my work to coach at Beachbody and nobody reached out to me. People don't care about once or twice. People need to see that you are sticking with it, that you love it, all the different sides of it, all the different questions that they have, they need answers. Number 3, once a month, gather all those people into a sneak peek group. So we're super lucky on this team. I run one sneak peek for everybody in this page, in our Shine Dynasty page, a month. So literally all you guys have to do is talk to all those people all month and then get them into the sneak peek group. I would recommend doing 2 a month if you're at the point in your business where you want to move forward. I have started doing this. I do one personally for me, and then I run one for the team. So maybe if you have kind of a larger team, you can take that on. If you're a brand new coach, you're more than welcome to be in my sneak peek groups for as long as you need to. So once a month, I go back in my lists, in my messages, in my emails, and I reach back out to all those people. I put people in a sneak peek who I have a quote unquote rapport with, right? Who I've spoken to before, who maybe they've reached out and we've talked about coaching and they maybe said no, they sent me an email, I sent them a friend request, whatever the case, we have some sort of connection, right? I've liked a post of theirs, I commented on a post of theirs, and I say, hey, I know we've talked about this before, I just wanted to let you know I'm running a private group where I'm just giving details about what I'm doing. And if you guys don't know what a sneak peek is, you can be in mine. Inside this group, it creates more of a safer feel, right? The person isn't alone. There's other people in there who are interested. There's other people asking questions. They see me answering those questions publicly, which are probably other questions that they might have. And it really creates a nice community feel where they can get kind of a little taste of what our community is like, right? While I'm doing the sneak peek, I make sure I do a couple things. So inside the group, I do live videos. I'm gonna talk more about that. But on the outside, I'm making sure that I'm following up with all those people, right? So I'm asking questions, I'm messaging them, I'm checking in with them. How did you like the group? Did you get a chance to see all the videos? Really keeping that contact with them. And I'll be honest, there will be 80% of people in the group who really like to just sit back and watch. They're not super participation people. They don't want anyone else to know that they're super interested. They're still kind of just watching from the sidelines, and that's totally okay. You're gonna get all different types of personalities in there. Inside the group, make sure you are talking about the business the way you want people to view it. So if you're in your sneak peek like, yeah, it's super easy, you don't do any work, and you just make all this money, then you're going to attract people who don't want to do work and want a get-rich-quick scheme, which this is not, right? There's a lot of money to be had, there's a lot of success to be had, but it all takes action. 5, publicly posting about objections, questions, misconceptions. So the things that you, and everyone has access to my sneak peek templates. You can see the questions I ask, see the posts that I do, see the live videos that I do, and totally model it after that. Or you can think about what are some of the things that eventually made you sign up? What are some of the questions you had? What are some of the things you had answered? And you can base your sneak peek off of that. It's really totally up to you. But you have to make sure that while this is going on publicly, you're also reflecting the same things that you're saying in your sneak peek, right? So because you know that while you're running this group and you're asking this of these people, they're also watching you to see really closely, what is it about this person? You know, is she actually walking the walk as well as talking the talk? And creating excitement. So I don't know if anyone has seen the coaches Jamie and Kim Fitzpatrick, but they're really having great success right now, and it's because their excitement is infectious. If you guys got on this team call and I was like, hey, Team Beachbody's cool, yeah, you might want to sign up, people would be like, what in the heck? People can feel your energy. They can see it. They know what you feel from your posts. If you aren't communicating excitement, communicating energy, communicating that this is something that you are excited about, how can we ever expect others to do the same thing? Now, inside my sneak peeks, number 1, live videos are a game changer. I know they're scary. I know it is scary. It is worth its weight in gold to get comfortable doing live videos. If you're someone who has never done a live video before, maybe try doing a quick 2-minute live video on your page, introducing yourself, talking about a hobby you have, talking about the weather where you live, just getting used to doing a live video. I have so many coaches who have such amazing personalities, but I never see them do a live video. Connecting with someone's voice is what our whole society is about right now. If you think about where everyone's focus is moving, Snapchat, Instagram stories, Facebook even has stories now. Everyone wants to see this video into who you are, what you have to offer, what it's like to talk to you. They are really craving that connection, right? Times are kind of changing. A text post with no picture, no video, no connection to the person you are doesn't hold the same weight as a video or picture, right? And we all know that. Make sure you address the big 3 inside your sneak peek. What is coaching? Talk a little bit about what the point is, what the origin of the company is, what your journey to signing up is. People love hearing that. You know, I was following my coach for a little while on Facebook, and then I Googled her, and then I filled out an application. Talk about your journey to coaching. This makes it relatable. It makes you a normal person. It makes you have the same journey as someone else, and now you're recreating that journey, right? Share your story. And then also talk about what it takes to sign up. You can't ever be scared of giving people facts, right? In my sneak peeks, I say, look, here's what it costs to sign up. It's $160. Here's what you get. Here's why that's the best way to sign up. Here's what comes with it. Because at the end of the day, the information is all there anyway. I believe in being 100% transparent. I'm never scared that someone's going to say, oh, you know, this is too much for me. I just share it. What it takes or what the tasks of a coach are. So I always do a live video in my sneak peeks that say, hey, here's what your first month will look like. Here are your goals for the first month. Your first goal is going to be to help 3 people. Join in our next challenge group. I'll run the challenge group for you. I'll tell you what to say. I'll tell you how to ask questions, how to answer them, and I'll run it for you. No stress for you, but that's going to be your first goal. This sort of primes coaches for what to expect, right? It's just like challengers. Here's what a challenge group is like. There's going to be a post every day. There's going to be accountability. It kind of shows them what they're getting into, right? So the same thing goes for coaching. And at the same time, you have to make sure your posts on your page are about coaching. Cannot be afraid to share that stuff. Answering everyone's questions publicly inside the group. So on the first day, I always ask people to share with me a little bit about them and then a little bit about a question they might have about Beachbody or something they might be confused about in terms of Beachbody. You know, what's their objection? What's the reason they haven't signed up yet? And then I answer all of them publicly because I know that if one person has that question, 10 other people have that question too. And even if they didn't have it, maybe it was somewhere in the back of their mind and then I answered it for them, right? This is something that I really wanted to address because I've been hearing it lately. I have a lot of people say, I can't post about coaching because I don't know what to post because I'm not as successful as you or another coach. Here's the thing. Small successes carry so much more weight than big ones. And I know that when you have small successes and you want big ones, it seems the other way. But listen, I'm not here to bullshit you or not say 100% the truth. It doesn't benefit me any to not tell you 100% the truth. Once you become super successful, all you want to talk about are the smaller wins because it's more relatable. So it's interesting in my sneak peeks, the thing that holds more weight is what my first month's goal was as a coach and what my first month's profit was as a coach. That holds way more weight than what I make or do or help now, right? So think about when you're thinking about what do I post about coaching, what did you hope to accomplish when you signed up as a new coach? What are the little things that you've accomplished every single day? Maybe what bill were you able to pay? In my sneak peeks, I always talk about my first month, we were so behind on our utility bills. I said, if I could just sign up for this and make my money back from the challenge pack and pay my utility bill, it will have been a win, right? And I talk about that in my sneak peek. And ever since I started talking about that, instead of what my paychecks are now, which of course, if someone asked me, I would tell them, I've been signing up so many more people because the smaller successes are way more relatable to someone outside the company. You know, what movie were you able to see with your husband or wife? What workout were you able to do that you couldn't do before? What excites you about the job? What makes you want to wake up? What have you been able to do with your life from coaching that you haven't been able to do before? Have you been excited about something? Have you felt prideful about something? Those are the things that people want to know about the business. They don't want to know that you're making $1 million a week. Another thing that I really wanted to talk about is, you know, with changes in social media and changes in kind of what attracts people, changes in every single business, not just network marketing, are moving to social media forums, Snapchat, Insta stories, all that stuff. You know, how are we bending and weaving with the times, right? Every single company has to sort of watch where markets are going and change what they're doing, right? Commercial marketing companies, they change what the commercials say. They change the products that they have with the times. So old ways don't always work. Right now, we live in a time where there are so many companies on social media and everyone's getting messages about these said companies, right? So the superpower that we have is our training. Messages like, hey, do you want to join my group? Don't work anymore. And Nikki just got a message yesterday that was literally someone just sent her a link. That people are on the defense. They know messages are coming. They know that everyone has something. Other companies are sort of working against us right now because they're kind of on the salesy side. So for us, we need to keep that in mind and really make relationships with people. Really honestly ask them a question about their goal. Like if you went into the doctor with a problem and the doctor's only response to you was to push a drug that they're supposed to be pushing and it had nothing to do with your problem, how would you feel? You would feel put off by that. You would feel awkward. So are you listening to the person's concerns? Are you asking questions? Are you trying to connect? And by connect, I mean a sentence or two, right? And then where are we finding people now? So for me personally, it still works to search people on Facebook. I add 5 friends every single day, and every single day I am posting calls to action. I'm on 3 different social media platforms. Those ways still work, right? If you guys are signed up as a coach and you don't have a business page, I would 100% recommend getting a business page in addition to your personal page. If you guys don't have a business page, I would 100% recommend also having an Instagram, right? Instagram's really popular right now for messaging, for companies, for finding people, all of that stuff. So we talked about how are we messaging now, and what vibe are you giving off? So if you have a success partner or a friend or someone you trust, have them go to your page. Do you look excited? Are you telling people about the business in a fun way? Are you telling people about the business at all? Are you sharing things? Are you saying one thing in private and saying another thing in public? You get what you share for, right? And the last thing that I'll say is there's 4 outcomes of an invite. You know, so many people are so afraid to invite people. They overthink messages all day long. They're afraid to invite someone to the coaching opportunity. And really, every single job is sales. I've talked about that before. There's nothing wrong with that. And there's the 4 outcomes of an invite. So every time you invite someone, there's 4 possible things that can happen. Number 1, they can say, no, absolutely not. I hate you. Please go away, which never really happens. They can say yes right away. They can not answer you, or they can say no and you can ask for advice, right? So number 1, someone says no. You know that you can either get a referral from that person, or you can either have a follow-up from that person, right? So every time someone says no, every single person who has signed up with me has said no at some point, has had an objection, has said that's not for me. And it's just a seed that I keep on watering. I know that every single person has the ability to be a coach. It just has to be the right time of their life. So when someone says no, it has nothing to do with you, nothing to do with your message, nothing to do with your company. It has everything to do with where that person is in their life, right? So if you get a no, write their name down. You can ask for a follow-up later on. You can ask for a referral later on. And then if someone says yes, awesome, big time win. If someone doesn't answer you, you can also put them in that follow-up / referral category. And then the most interesting one, number 4, when you can ask for advice. So this works a lot of the time for me. If someone says no, someone doesn't answer, I've invited them a couple times. I reach out to them and I say, hey, I know that maybe this isn't for you. That's totally cool. But I would love to know what I didn't explain properly or what you didn't understand about coaching that made you feel like you couldn't answer me or you couldn't do it. Then you take the pressure off of that person, right? You're no longer inviting them to something that's outside of their comfort zone. What you're doing now is you're asking for advice. You're saying, I'm taking the pressure off of you. I need advice for future people. It is a big decision. Coaching is a big decision, right? People are deciding to put themselves out there. They're deciding to try something new. They're deciding to believe in you and the company. So we have to be there 3 to 5 times per day on our social media and in these groups in order to make the decision easier for them, right? How many times are you helping it sink in? So many people are afraid to post about coaching more than once. You know, I don't want to annoy people. My question to you is, does my profile annoy you? Do my posts about coaching annoy you? No, because it's something that you are interested in seeing, right? And then number 4, why are you afraid to invite people? You know, if you're someone who struggles with the who, what, where, why of inviting people, I encourage you to think about, you know, maybe the next person you invite is the next Lindsay Matway. Maybe the next person you invite is the next Brittany Leggett, Lindsay Stay. And if you didn't invite them, someone else would. Or if you didn't invite them, their life would be a completely different way. That's something that I always like to think about when I'm thinking about recruiting, when I'm thinking about the business, when I'm thinking about, kind of not being, oh, hold on one second, not being scared, but, not wanting to put myself out there. I always think about, is this selfish right now? Am I being selfish by not sharing this? So that's kind of my flow, right? I make a list, I talk to people, I spend the majority of my time reaching out, and then I put those people into a sneak peek, and then I follow up with those people, and then I repeat that cycle over and over and over again. Twice a month for me. Once a month is cool if you just want to stick with the Shine Dynasty sneak peeks, but that's kind of my flow of how I do things. So check yourself. Are you doing those things? Are you finding people to invite every single day? And then are you posting every single day about what you're doing so those people every single day get a little bit more of the details of what you're doing? That is my recruiting flow in a nutshell. And I'm going to talk more about this next week as well, some strategies and stuff to expanding your market. So that's going to be really good. But other than that, thank you guys so much for joining me. I'm going to go to bed at 9 p.m. again. But I love you guys. I hope you have a good Tuesday, and I hope you found some value tonight. All right, see you guys.